ice cream lids.
Ice cream lids.
You didn't see this coming. All right.
I didn't.
So you open up a pint of ice cream, right? It's the round. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, like the Ben and Jerry's ones.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but a pint, a bigger one. I think it's a pint, isn't it?
Is that a pint? I thought a pint was just small.
Oh, then it's what is it? A fucking quart. There you go. Damn. Yeah. I sent you a picture. We're getting right to it. I was holding myself accountable because I had forgotten when we had our last podcast about only fucker on the planet.
Yeah.
Right. And so I was like, God damn it. I see them all the time. I have to keep track of them as much as I can. So and then of course I immediately forgot. But in the short time that I was thinking about it, I sent you a picture. This is a car at the Blazer game. This car's parked at the end of a row, so cars are coming and going. But I want you to appreciate the Blazer game parking lot, right, gets fucking packed, okay? So every spot gets used. Now, maybe sometimes you could see from the parking spots, you get my big truck in there.
Mm-hmm.
It's tight, right? You get another big F-150 or F-350 Ford or a big Chevy. It can get pretty tight. Sometimes, like my daughter, she's with me. I got to let her out first, and then I have to back in, right, to get in. So I get it. It's tight. And I'm totally aware of that. So like the other day, I went to back in, had a bunch of traffic behind me, so I was in a big hurry, but I was fucked up, right? And so I knew the cars were going to want to get in next to me. I waited for all the cars that I was holding up to go past me. And then I pull out, right, and then get straight and get right in the middle and take up as little bit of room as I can with my great big Raptor.
Okay.
So but we all, again, if we're not the only fucking humans on the planet, we all have this. I would think you kind of are considerate about, you don't back up back and forth and make the 24 cars waiting for you. It's not like somebody's going to take your fucking parking spot.
Yeah.
You're in the goddamn spot.
You're just trying to straighten out.
That's the other thing that pisses me off, right? Is that people just sit there and go back and forth trying to park. Don't worry about the 75 people behind you. Take your time, motherfucker. Right? So that's number one. But specifically, let the people go by and then get sat in the middle, because we all know how these parking structures are. They're tight.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Now, the only ones that aren't tight, just to make this story even worse for this person, the only ones that aren't tight are the ones on the end, right? As you can see in the picture, there's no car on the other side. So all you have to do is park on the side, on the line that doesn't have another spot next to you, right? Pretty simple. This is a half an hour before the game. There's the fucking parking lot. I got there good and early for this particular game is mostly empty. Okay, you can see there's an open spot next to this car.
Okay.
There's no spot on the other side of the car, no wall, nothing to stop them, no posts. There's nothing in the way that stops them from moving over. That car is empty. So anybody doesn't see the picture that we're looking at, the car is literally on there's two lines on each side. Instead of a single line, there's two lines. And so you kind of, and it's, what is that, a Jeep 4x4. So it's a mini SUV thing. So it's not like a big gigantic truck. It would easily fit in that center. This car is pulled all the way, and there's nothing on the far side of the car. The car literally could park, I don't know, what is that, 4 feet to the left?
Yeah, the driver's side's completely empty.
Yeah, the driver's side could park in fact, the driver's side is about 40% into the parking space. And the right-hand passenger side is on the secondary line, almost in the other parking spot. There's no cars. There's no car next to it in the parking space. And of course, it could park in the middle of the driveway if it wanted to on the other side. And it literally is for all intents and purposes, it's taking up 2 fucking spots. What kind of asshole pulls in like that in an empty parking lot? It's not like they had to go back and forth because there's nothing on the other side. Gets out of the truck. It's like, oh, that's good. And goes in. Right? Who doesn't think about the other guy that's got to take that spot, or he's going to be parking up on the 6th fucking floor, right?
Yep.
Because you're such an ignorant fuck. There's no excuse that you can't fit, because clearly that car would have fit between 2 cars easily.
Yep.
There's no excuse that you couldn't get in because 2 trucks were boxing you out, because it's the fucking spot on the end. There's no excuse that you can't fit next to another car, because there isn't another car. There's just you. All you had to do was line up with the fucking post.
Just stay in the line.
And just stay in the lines. No reason why you couldn't do that. Look at, can you imagine what kind of person fucking parks like that and then gets out of their car?
The asshole.
Right?
The only fucking human on the planet.
Is that not a perfect only fucking human on the planet?
Totally, because now like that entire row is just going to be so
It's all
cramped
fucked
for
up.
fucking space.
That's right. That's right. No, it works. The parking lot works, but it's tight. We all know it's tight. So everybody's got to be fucking straight, right? I mean, you got to, most cars back in because, or most trucks back in because it's just too hard to pull in forward and get as straight as you need to. It's a little tight, right? So you back in fucking, and it works really well. And you'll have truck after truck after truck. That's the other thing. If you do that right, your big trucks can park right next to each other.
Yeah.
But fucking minivan or whatever the hell that Jeep 4x4, which is a mid-sized vehicle, in an empty parking spot, can't even get it right. And then I just got a question. God damn it. When you climb out of the fucking car, is it an excuse? Can you say to yourself, I didn't realize it when you park?
There's no way.
Right?
There's no way he didn't realize
There's
it.
no way when he climbs out, he's not like, oh, fuck, I can't see the yellow line on the other side of the park. I just got out in the middle. As I exited my vehicle, I stepped into the middle of the parking spot.
Yeah.
Now, there's not somebody in that car. There's not somebody waiting to come back to move it because people were coming by. He's not waiting to straighten up. I was backing up on the other side of him, right? Across from him, me and my daughter, him and his fucking girl parked that thing, got out, went inside the building.
No fucks given.
No fucks given.
Just no fucks given.
So
People.
you can see that is the definition of only fucking human on the planet.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Now, I have 2, but I don't know if I want to. We'll just do one tonight because I got another one too.
You gotta save that one.
Yeah, but I got a question for you.
What's that?
I'm an idiot. Ice cream lids.
Ice cream lids.
You didn't see this coming. All right.
I didn't.
So you open up a pint of ice cream, right? It's the round. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, like the Ben & Jerry's ones.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but a pint, a bigger one. I think it's a pint, isn't it?
Is that a pint? I thought a pint was just small.
Oh, then it's what is it? A fucking quart. There you go. Yeah, the quart. Right, so it's more ice cream than you can. Well, theoretically, it's more ice cream than you should eat.
Yeah,
right.
All right.
A
I'll
pint
agree with that.
You could probably put away, but the fucking quart one.
Yeah.
It's got the little plastic ring around the top of it, right? You got to take that plastic off, and then you take the lid off. Okay. So my wife's getting in the ice cream. My wife and my daughter's getting in the ice cream the other day, separate times, right? Separately, and I was like, oh, fuck, they're eating ice cream. I might have to go partake some of that. Go check that out, right? So I go over, I get the ice cream out, I pop the lid off the top, right? It's about half eaten down the quart. But on the top of the lid, when you pull the lid off the first time you do it, it's caked with ice cream. And I don't know about you, but you take your spoon you run your spoon down, you get all that fucking ice cream. Dude, both of them got ice cream.
And left it all there?
And put the lid right back on and left it all there.
Oh, my gosh.
What madness is this? Am I right?
No, totally. And I mean, it's generally the first couple of times, because otherwise, if you wait too long, it'll get like half melted, then half refrozen and get all like weird and syrupy up there.
Yeah.
But it's that first time you pop it, you just got to clean that off.
Dude, that's the first bite every time.
Yeah.
Right. It's got to be cleaned off.
Yeah.
Nope. I never even noticed it. So I'm sure that's going to get me in trouble for talking shit about my wife and my daughter.
Well, if they knew how to eat ice cream appropriately, this wouldn't be a problem. An issue.
So I hope you guys are listening, man. We got to fucking scrape that lid. Who doesn't scrape the lid? Even in the little, if I'm eating a little pint, right? You're still scraping the lid.
Totally.
Pull that thing off. There's some good ice cream in there. What are these people thinking?
What are they thinking?
So that was, I bet you didn't see ice cream lids coming.
I did not see that one coming.
That'd be cool in some way, too. What's weird about that ice cream off the top, it's almost better than the ice cream in the bowl when you're eating it. In a weird way, it's like you've stolen extra ice cream, right? And you haven't started eating the ice cream yet, so you're like, it's your first, bite of the sweet creamy ice cream. And there's almost like, I don't know, somehow you're getting over, and it has a better flavor to it. No, not a better flavor. It just tastes better. I don't know what it is. There's something
more deserved.
Yeah, it's just like, I fucking worked for this, man.
This is the rare. This is the ice cream that clinged on to the top.
That's right. This is the smarter ice cream. It's trying to survive by clinging to.
You've had to discover it.
Yeah, by clinging to the lid, it was trying to live. That's so stupid. Yeah, so it tastes pretty good. One more bitch about I'm at the Blazer game. Same bitch, same night, same thing. They don't have trays. The fucking world's gone mad. Yeah, this whole straw bullshit, right? You got to ask for straws. Well, the fucking Blazers have decided that they're going with the paper straws. Is there a worse? Is there a worse thing in the world? Please, anybody tell me, is there a worse thing in the world than a paper straw?
I honestly don't think I've ever used one.
Yeah, there's not. Trust me. Take the worst disease you can imagine. Paper straws are worse. It's absolutely true.
So do they just like fall apart while you're using them?
If you have some disease where your skin falls off, it's not as bad as fucking paper straws. They are.
What's your complaint about a paper straw?
Unusable. You stick it in the cup, right? Okay, now, to be honest, this bitch comes as I'm bitching about this, it's bitching on behalf of others because I don't use straws. I don't use straws anyway. I like drinking it with the lid off the top, right?
Okay.
So I always have. And then my one son doesn't use a straw because he's watched me drink it that way my whole life. So he does it the same way. But the other two and my wife, they use straws. My mother-in-law, when we go out, they use straws. But you have to ask for a straw. So I have straw experience. I just don't personally use straws, just to make sure that I'm being honest here.
Okay.
So you put, and right now, anybody listening that's had a paper straw is yelling at as they're driving in their car because they know exactly what's coming. And I know they're thinking to themselves, what is he retarded? How does he not know what the problem with a paper straw is? So right now, I just want you to know.
Assuming that everyone thinks.
No, I'm not assuming. I know. I know that anybody that's listening right now feels sorry for you.
Because I haven't had to experience this horrible trauma of using a paper straw.
Worse than a fucking skin falling off disease. I promise.
That's why they feel sorry for me?
Yes, because you should know that. Yes.
All right.
So you take a straw. It's made of fucking paper. What happens to paper when you put it in liquid?
It gets what?
Yeah. And?
It gets all soggy. Starts breaking down.
Literally. So you're at a Blazer game, right? Okay, you get yourself a drink. Number one, the drink is 8,000 times bigger than what you need, right? You never finish it. So it's sitting in the cup holder in front of you. You're watching the game, and you sip on it throughout the game. Now, I do it without a lid on it, but nobody else does, right? Everybody likes their lid and their straw. So that's my daughter. Well, it ain't even halftime yet. She pulls that straw out, and dude, it ain't working.
It's already falling apart.
It's fucking unraveling, right? It's coming apart. Literally, it's got like it's got like a fur on the outside, right? You know what I mean? It has just
all the water's penetrating.
All the water's penetrating it, right? And it kind of comes up a little bit, and it's soft and soggy, and it looks like it's got a fur on it, right? Or some snow or something on the outside of it. And she's like, "Here you go," and she holds it up, and the fucking straw's, at a fucked up angle. It's not supposed to be straight, sloping over. Yeah. So you're like, oh, for fuck's sake, man. This is what the world's come to. So that was a couple of games ago. We went to the game the other night. We're going again tonight. Fucking Lakers. Fuck you, Aaron Floyd, too, by the way. So we got the Lakers tonight, but my daughter thinks about it. We're on the way to the game the other night, and she's like, Dad, the straw problem. And I'm like, oh, fuck, yeah. So we get down in the middle of my truck, right? We've had the truck for about 4 years. So, stuff accumulates. I was like, baby, I'm pretty sure
There's
there's
gotta
a
be something in there.
fucking straw down in there. So she's pulling out, it's got like a shelf in there that comes out, right? We're driving down the road. It's all full of change and shit. She's picking it up and setting it down and reaching way down, because it's a big truck. So, fuck, you could fit half your body inside the
The
deal
center
in the center console. She's reaching out. She's like, oh, I got one, but it's the straw had fallen down kind of where the two pieces meet, at the corners.
So it's
and it
crimped.
kind of, no, but it had fallen down. So you need, like, if you had a toothpick, you could just fucking pick it up on one end and you'd be good to go, but she can't get her fingers down. You'd have thought it was an EpiPen and she was having a fucking an attack, because you need that EpiPen. The hell is that called? The anaphylactic shock. You need to have an EpiPen. It's like she dropped her EpiPen and she was going through some sort of withdrawal because she couldn't get the straw out. Ultimately, she got the straw out, and then both of us are like, "Yeah, boom!" Like we just some great event or happening just took place because we were able to get the straw out of the center console, and fucking we're getting over on the Blazers, and we're getting over on these retarded Portland rules about straws and all of that. She literally, I can't believe I'm 50 years old, as I've said many times. I have lived long enough to see where you got to take your own goddamn straws to a sporting event.
Yeah,
because they have what they call straws, which anyone knows that uses them. Here's how stupid it is. Let's just continue. If I were using a straw, number one, it's weird sucking it through paper also. It's fucking weird. I took a poll on it. It's weird. It's not the same. It's right. It doesn't hold up the same in your mouth. The straw doesn't. The taste
probably lets
of paper,
more air through too.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I don't know about the air. I just took a drink, but it just is weird. Okay, so theoretically, you could get used to that. All right, let's just say we can get used to that. By my estimation, she needs 3 straws in order to drink one drink over the course of one game.
Okay.
Does that make a goddamn bit of sense? Right? Because you can't drink out of the straw at halftime. It's fucked.
Yeah.
Okay? So, and then the second half always takes longer than the first half. So by my estimation, you go into a game, instead of using one fucking plastic straw, you're using 3 paper ones. Now, let's say the paper is recyclable, whatever. I'm fairly certain that fucking triple the amount of product is not nearly as bad as the single straw. I just have to make that assumption. I could be wrong there, but you have 3 times the product. I don't know. It certainly falls apart, so you can't see it as well. It's not sitting in a dolphin's nose, like straws can. But I don't know. Is it not as dangerous or as bad for the environment if the fucking dolphin has his lungs coated in paper debris that is microscopic, as opposed to the straw sticking out of his nose? I don't think so, because the shit, while it does dissipate, doesn't disappear.
Yeah.
Right? It's got to be fucking somewhere.
Yeah.
And now there's 3 straws to every person instead of 1 straw. Okay.
That's a fair point.
Fucking 15 minutes on straws.
You just need to get one of those giant long metal straws.
No, dude.
And then just have her take it.
I don't know if we talked about this over the weekend. I don't know if this is urban myth or not. But I swear to God, I read a story. I know I read this story, but again, I didn't read the story and then check to see if the story was true.
Okay.
And the urban myth is that there is a woman, I believe back in the Midwest somewhere. We'll have to check this out. I'm sure this is bullshit, but it's an interesting story. She had a mason jar that she drank out of. Okay. And so she'd put the lid on the mason jar, and the mason jar lid had a hole in it, but it was like made for it, right? It's like something you bought at, I don't know, Pottery Barn or fucking some shit, right?
Yeah.
Bed Bath and Beyond or something. And so then she's got a big metal straw in the middle of it.
Mm-hmm.
I think she was like in her kitchen and fucking fell over. And this can't be true, but it's an interesting story. Like I said, falls over, straw goes in her eye. Since it's stuck in the lid and in the jar, it doesn't move like a plastic straw would, right? And she's dead.
Ooh.
Now, that can't be true. But I know I read it, and it was on the internet. So we all know, if it was on the fucking internet,
it's very possible.
that shit's true.
That seems completely reasonable.
It seems plausible, right?
It does.
Yeah. There's no way around that.
That's pretty brutal.
But whether or not that's Whether or not that's reality, I'm not sure. But again, every reason why you should just use a fucking
Regular
plastic
old
straw for the love of God, right? Like it's doing anything to us. Anyway, I had 3 things to bitch about right off the top of this podcast. What's going on with you?
Not a ton. We're getting some new guests in. We've been having a lot of guests on here.
Yeah.
What do you think about all the guests? How do you feel?
I think that it is it's interesting, all the different people. It's interesting to have conversations with different people and the way that people conversate. There's subconsciously, when I think about having conversations with people,
Mm-hmm.
there is a sameness. I don't even know if this is the right terminology. Sameness. There's it's inherently, I think, it's just going to be a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I have a conversation with Billy. I have a conversation with Brooke. I have a conversation with Kathy. I have a conversation with Kira. They're just conversations,
Yeah.
right? And I didn't, going into this, when we really started particularly having people on our show, where it's a different dynamic than when we go on people's shows, I subconsciously just assumed it's a conversation, right? Just sit down and have a conversation with anybody. What I've learned, which again, admittedly, it may be stupid of me to have not conceived this before, but how different people are and how different having a conversation with somebody is. Now, I think that it's different because of the environment. I'm interviewing them. They're here to talk about what they've got going on, which lends a dynamic to it that you don't have when it's me and you having a conversation, right? So I don't know that if it were them and me sitting across from each other, that's why I like having them come in here.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a completely different conversation when they're sitting in here. But even so, it's still a different conversation when you're interviewing them. Almost like it's as hard as you try, it's not really a conversation, because kind of my job, I suppose, is to direct the conversation. And we've had this feedback as we look for feedback from people that have been on our show about how we did and what could we do to improve it. People seem to like the style, and I keep the conversation moving along and, give them enough time to talk and all of that. But it is a dynamic that I didn't think about. And I find myself, I'm not a good listener.
Yeah.
Yep. I need to do better at listening. And I know this about myself. I'm not a good listener. And so I'm not a good listener because I'm impatient as hell. Okay. This has been a long-term problem for me. We've talked about this before in the context of success, right? And how important it is to listen to what people say, not interrupt them. And particularly when I was younger, when someone would talk, you're cutting them off because you already know the answer to their question and just fucking get to it, which really just pisses people off. And you got to give them a chance to talk. So I learned those lessons as a kid to help me get where I am today. But I still find myself, particularly when it's online or, when we're on video, that I get anxious in some of the conversations because I don't know. It's for me, maybe it's not moving along as quickly as I'd like it to. And I lose all sense of, you and I'll talk afterwards. You're like, I think that went really good. And I was like, fuck, that hour lasted for fucking ever. What are you talking about? So there is some of that. So I'm learning how to do it, I suppose. And it's a lot more, it's not as easy as it looks, which is definitely what makes it a lot of fun. But yeah, it's not as easy as it looks, because the worst part about it is, and most everybody we've had on's been good, and so I'm not disparaging anybody. But the worst part of it is sometimes the conversations will start out slow, or sometimes there's not a click right away, between me and them. And you're looking at the clock and it's 11 minutes after. You have 49 minutes left to fill and you don't have anything to talk about.
Yeah.
Or you have a sense that there's nothing to talk about. So then it's like there's a little bit of panic and you're like, oh shit, right? And you're not now concentrating on what they're saying.
You're trying to think of something to keep it going.
Yeah, well, you're starting to freak out because you're like, man, I got 49 more minutes, and you don't want to let dude talk for 11 minutes and then go, peace out, brother. Sounded good.
Well, that sounds great.
Yeah, that sounds great. So some conversations are like that, and that is it's interesting to try to fill that. But then I just tell myself to relax and just have a conversation because we can kind of conversate about just about anything.
Yeah.
And then pretty soon the hour goes by in a flash, and you're done. That's the other thing. This is number 3, I guess. How fast that hour goes. It goes. When we first did it, I thought we went on some of these ones that are half an hour. We're like, that's not fucking long enough, right? But we're not Joe Rogan. Nobody's going to listen for 3 fucking hours. But I thought, man, 3 hours is pretty good. Most of our podcasts that we've been on or have people on and or have had people come in could last for I'm sure they could go on for 2.5 hours.
Oh, at least.
Yeah. Because particularly towards the end, you start seeing it's 20 tell, it's quarter tell. You got about 15 minutes left, and you're like, fuck, I'm not getting to half the shit I talked about because this conversation's been so good. It's gone off in other directions. We've talked about other things, and I didn't get to half of my shit, and I feel like I'm, like you're cutting yourself. Sorry about this, but it's been an hour. We got to go. We got to shut it down. This conversation could have gone on forever. And those ones, where the hour goes so fast, and I mean it literally goes in a blink of an eye. And I had no concept that a conversation could go that fast. An hour, I guess what I'm saying is an hour is not that long. And I don't know how many we've had on or gone on, probably 20.
Something like that.
Yeah, I mean a lot.
Yeah. And there's only been, most all of them, they seem like they could go on for a lot longer, definitely.
Yeah, you'd think an hour is long enough. I don't know about, there's one thing to have a conversation with somebody, maybe much more entertaining than listening to me have a conversation with somebody, so you want to find subjects that are interesting. In doing this podcast, I want to try to talk to everybody though, and I have to remind myself that even when I'm talking to people that I just don't agree with a goddamn word they're saying, I'm still there for the conversation and to hear what people have to say. So, it's been, it has been educational. Yeah.
Definitely.
I have fun.
Yeah. I think it's important to just try to strive to keep that conversational aspect about things and not to make it too interviewee. Because I think, obviously the person is there because they have a certain skill set or experience or, they've been through something and they're there to share that with us. And so there is always an interview portion of it for that aspect. But I think keeping it open and having it conversational, which means that you got to not jump to conclusions and listen to everything they're saying, because from that's going to spawn other little topics that you can talk about. Like, right. Tony Watley, you guys went into pool, you went into cars, you went into everything else, and he was there to talk about business.
Right.
So.
Yeah, but I agree that is the last thing I want to do, and some of them have turned into this, and I think it's, I'm pretty critical. Listening to yourself sucks.
Oh, totally.
It fucking sucks, man. It does. And so I feel like I need to listen to everything that we put out, right? Because it's our product, right? So we should listen to it. And when you're, literally, and everybody maybe find this hard to believe, I got, there's 1, 2, 3 cameras, 2 microphones, the clock to watch, the person I'm having the conversation with, the screen above the camera. I got to look straight at the camera, though, and not at the person, which is completely weird. I've got my notes. You got your drink. There's a lot of shit going on around you, but realistically, other than Billy having to remind me every now and then to look at the camera because I look up at the person, which is just normal, and I think I've gotten over that, though. I kind of got, particularly once you remind me, I'm good with the camera from there on. But you're just having a conversation with people. So the first few ones where I had to look at the camera and not the person made it harder to have a conversation because I'm concentrating on the camera,
looking at the camera,
and not what the person is saying to us. But I'm past all of that now, and so really, it's just a conversation with somebody. It's probably made easier, honestly, having my own voice in my head, in my headphones. It's probably easier because it feels much more contained when their voices are in my ear. I don't know. It's like I'm in a a bubble almost.
Yeah.
So from that perspective, when you're having those conversations and you're zeroed in on whatever somebody's saying to you, it's just a conversation. But then I go listen to it, and I number one, I'm like, can you say one more motherfucking time? I tell myself, right? Or oh, that's not the right word to use there, because there's no script here. We're not going back and recutting shit. It whatever comes out of our mouths goes into the podcast, and so you go back and listen to it, and then you critique what you said, but then also I'm like, man, fucking nasally. Your voice sounds like shit, right? What's going on there? What's that noise? So it's just been interesting. I probably don't listen to half of them anymore. For the first 100 or so we put out, I listen to every one. And now we put out so many too. It's probably, I listen to half of them and I'm still uncomfortable as fuck. And then my wife will get in the car. We'll like be driving home from the pool hall or Blazer game or something, and I'll turn it off. Because I don't want to sit there and listen to me go on about whatever with her sitting there. Not that I'm talking about her, right? Or even my daughter. It's just like, man, what kind of asshole listens to himself in the car? You know, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know. You find
totally
that too, listening to yourself?
Yeah. No, it's been weird all along, and
because you're doing the editing too.
Yeah.
So you're just living with it.
Yep. Yeah. I have to continuously listen to it all day, every day.
Yeah.
And so that's definitely an interesting point. It's something that you just kind of got to get used to and just not care, because I hate the way I laugh. I always stutter on words.
Yeah, your laugh's brutal.
My laugh is brutal.
It comes across really loud too.
Yep.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. But laughing like that.
How can I control how I... Right?
Yeah.
So it's like,
look at me. We're laughing like that.
And you're always like, when you watch it in post or afterwards, you're like, I got to remember to fix this, fix that. And then it's how you talk and how you conversate.
Yeah.
So it's nothing that you can really fix.
Right.
And you just forget by the next episode.
Well, if you try to, here's what I know. If I try to be something I'm not, it's going to suck ass. Worse than maybe it does with me learning. Yep. Right. And so trying to be something that I'm not is not a program that I can do, that I can go with, because I can't keep it up, and you can't. So you see how somebody else interviews and you're like, well, I want to be a great interviewer. But more so, I want to be a great conversationalist. I want to sit down and have conversations with people that make sense, that are meaningful, that may not. Hopefully we don't agree with each other, because that's a really good conversation. But at least it's respectful and it's reasonable, and you're not blowing too much shit up anybody's ass. But at the same time, if you try to replicate the way somebody else does it, it's going to be
comes across
a
fake,
fucking nightmare.
Not genuine.
Right. So I get that, and then once I realize that, it's made the whole world a whole lot easier, because then it's just sitting down and having a conversation. And unfortunately, I don't always get time to. Billy gives me a little thing on everybody before they come on, which is like a rundown on them. These are all different ones. Some of them are multi-page, and then you guys can see here on each one we ask them just a few questions. What are they selling? What's their email? A little bio intro that they'd like us, how they'd like us to introduce them, kind of what their professional title is, a list of questions they'd like us to ask and things to talk about. I don't always follow that. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Depends on how the deal goes.
But it's a great jump off point.
Yeah. At least the first question and a lot of times I only get to one question, and then we talk for an hour.
Yeah.
What's the hope the audience takes away from the interview? What's the topic you're most knowledgeable about? Is there anything else you'd like us to know? And then they're able to put down whatever they want. And again, it's just talking points. I don't follow this script. Rarely do I follow the script. You follow the script when you're reading their bio and who they are and the intro and all that. But so Billy gives me that, and then you guys can see here, anybody watching on video can see that I, on each one I write some notes, just questions that I want to add, or, different thoughts that I have on their on what they've written down. So, really, it's and if I've got time, then I will go in and I will listen to their podcast. or listen to them being a guest on a podcast to get some sense of look at some sense of who they are. Look at their Instagram. Try to check out their YouTube. Go on to social media and get a sense of what they're about and how they conversate and talk, and then go for it. But lately we've been doing so many, and I've been so busy that it's been fucking Billy better hand me that goddamn piece of paper before we get in there, because I have no idea. And again, I'm just being honest with people. I have no idea who I'm talking to, and I have no idea what I'm talking about. Thankfully, we kind of got it down. I mean, this one you handed me like 9 seconds before, because I walked in 10 seconds before.
Yep.
So I have just enough time to look at it for 2 seconds, make a couple of notes, and go for it. But it seems to work. Yeah. I mean, I don't feel like there's been a lack of anything to talk about.
Yeah, no, and I think
even though I should say, I don't think that we've put out a product that seemed like there was nothing to talk about. I may feel like the thing's not going anywhere and there's nothing to talk about, but I don't think it comes across.
No, I think each one has been pretty informative in one way or another.
Yeah, and that's where the notes come in too, is if you ever do feel stuck, you look down at the note real quick and you're like, oh, fuck, here's a different direction I can go with it.
Yeah, totally.
So no, it's been cool. And anybody listening that wants to get in on this, we will have anybody on.
Yeah, so if you want to come on, or if you know somebody who you think would be a cool conversation, you should send them our way.
Yeah, which means what? Where do they got to send them?
Just go to our website. On our website, jerrybrazy.com/contact us. You can see right there, you'll see 3 little boxes on the left. It'll say, want to be on the podcast. You click that, fill out the questions, and then that sends me an email. Yeah,
the other thing too, anybody listening, if you have something you would like us to talk about, you can shoot that probably via an email. They can send it to questions at jerrybrazy.com.
Yep.
Or questions at jerrybrazy.com if they want. But if you have an idea of something you would like to hear about, you'd like to hear how a car is built, or, how a bow is made, or whatever, doesn't matter, whatever it is, we can go out and try to find somebody that can have that conversation.
Totally.
And we're going to keep this up. We're trying to do 2 a week. Are we trying to do 2 a week with guests?
2 a week with guests?
Yeah.
I mean, we release 2 a week, so we're trying to do at least 2 a month with just us.
2 a month with us, and then always putting out 2 a week. So the other 4, essentially. If there's 8 weeks, you're putting out, or if there's 4 weeks, there's 8 podcasts. 2 of them are ours, so 6 are
with guests.
Either is that us on other people's, or you think I would fucking know this, right?
That would be other people on ours.
Other people on ours. Yep. All right.
Our podcast goes out twice a week.
Because I was like, fuck, I swear to God, we're doing more podcasts than that. But I forget I'm going on other people's podcasts, and that doesn't count.
Yep.
Yes. Okay. Now here, live on the podcast, now I know what we're doing with with our podcast program.
It's only been, what, a couple of years now?
Yeah. Well, I got it down. Yeah. Sooner or later. We got to talk about Jake Major.
And it's important to note we're on like 150. I think.
Fucking 150?
150 podcasts.
150 hours of me yapping.
Yep. 150 hours of me listening to you.
You laughing too loud.
Yep.
Man.
But Mr. Jake.
That's funny. Jake Major at Cobra Archery. Jake Major at Cobra Archery. Where's Jake out of? Jake, where are you out of? I think you're back east somewhere, if I remember correctly, right? Doesn't seem like Pennsylvania or something, or maybe South Carolina. I don't remember. Jake, if I fucked that up, I fucked it up. Trying to look real quick here. Pennsylvania, boom.
Oh, you nailed it.
Look at me, fucking remembering what I'm doing. He is with Cobra Archery, and dude hooked us up.
He did.
He listens and he comments, and
hopefully eventually we're going to get him on here.
One of these days we'll get him on here. But I mean, he did it right. If anybody listening, we don't talk about it a ton, but I'm a big bow hunter. I love to bow hunt, and that's been my thing, and I've been all over the world bow hunting. And so the Cobra Archery is the name of the business, and dude sent us these cool hats. I'm showing them on the video. Anybody wants to go check it out. Jake, you're the man. Even more so, Billy's wearing the hoodie that he sent us, and this hoodie ain't playing.
No, this is a nice hoodie.
Yeah, I mean, it's, I don't know how much, I don't wear coats, so fucking how much does a normal hoodie weigh, right? Let's say a normal hoodie weighs a pound, just to use a number.
Yeah.
Right?
This thing's at least
like 3 pounds, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
like it's nice and thick all the way through.
Yeah.
And it's
got like
warm.
a lining in it. It's high quality.
It's got kind of a stretchy fabric on the side there.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I gotta check it
breathe
out
a little
here.
bit more.
Oh yeah, check that out. It does. Man, that's some high quality shit right there. Well done, Jake. We really appreciate it. Everybody will just give you another shout out here. There it is right there. Cobra Archery. Got a cool little deal. Cobra Archery, Born to Perform right here on the front. And then we learned something. So Jake and everybody else paying attention out there, we learned something. And so on the, what fucking arm is this? On the right arm is a flag. So we noticed right away, here was the right arm, had a flag on it. And we're like, both Billy and I are like, uh-oh.
Did he put that
on there backwards? And we're like, because you can see, I don't know, how's that show up on the screen, Billy?
Yeah, that
you
one.
See that? Okay.
Also looking at me, you got a side profile view right there.
Yeah, you can see it. The flag's backwards, or at least our dumbasses thought it was backwards. So to be honest, Jake, we were like, dude, fucked his shirts up.
Yep. Nope.
Right.
Me and you both thought so.
Yeah.
And
we're
then,
like, oh man, he fucked them up. And then who was with us?
Keenan.
Yeah, and he, and I don't know. People don't know who he is. Why don't you tell everybody who he is?
Keenan's been taking over for Cody. He's been helping out with the editing on the podcast side of things.
Right.
He knew instantly what it was.
So he
was
walks
like,
over.
No, you guys are stupid.
You're stupid. Something about Civil War. It was going into battle, and the flag is
battle.
Yeah, the flag is waving away from you as if you were running into battle. When he first said that, I was like, no.
Yeah, we both were like, nah.
That can't be right.
This up. Yeah. I've never heard that before.
That can't be right. You'd think, again, I'm 50. You'd think I'd fucking heard of that before, right?
Yep.
And I'm, fairly patriotic and all of that. And I swear to God, now I'm going to watch I'm going to go home on Netflix tonight after the Blazer game and just look at Army movies
in the movie
and see if the patches that they all wear on their shirts are faced backwards, because if they are, I've missed that for the entirety of my life, which is sad. So,
but it's true. Straight out of the military.
It's true. We looked. So again, we went to the good old Google.
Yep.
Where all information is held, and looked it up right away. And both Billy and I are like, no fucking way. Exactly what he told us was true.
Yep.
Civil War, flag going away from you. So
this is like you're charging into battle, and the flag is like the wind is pushing it behind you.
Yeah.
So no matter what arm it's on, it's going to be flowing behind you.
Here's the good thing. If we ever wanted to do something like this and use the flag, we would have fucked it up if somebody didn't tell us.
100%.
Yeah.
I am
no question I'd have put that flag on there backwards.
Yep.
Yeah. 100%.
Totally. I'm surprised by the detail that he got that right.
I would have bet $1,000 right at that point that this flag is backwards.
Yep.
Yeah. That's how sure I was. So.
And I went home yesterday, and Heather noticed it, and we had the same conversation.
She thought it was backwards?
She thought it was backwards, too.
Yeah, see?
She'd never heard of it.
Fuck is Heather's problem?
Yeah, Heather. Yeah,
Jesus. Why didn't you know that? God, everybody knows that. Yeah, no, I'd have bet you $1,000 that it was fucked up, but it's not. And that's why I think that when I get to looking on movies and paying attention, that it is, boom, there's my daughter right there. You know what that means? We got to get going because it's the Laker game tonight, so the stadium will be packed.
Oh, yeah.
And it'll be a nightmare. So we're going to leave a little bit early. But yeah, I'm going to watch this. And if fucking Schwarzenegger has a flag on his shoulder that's backwards from this, I'm going to be bitching about something that I didn't even know was a problem before 2 days ago. So anyway.
But Jake, you definitely hooked us up. And we appreciate it.
Dude, this is some badass shit. And it is certainly not playing around. So Cobra Archery is helping us out. And Jake is a a regular listener and a regular commenter, and we appreciate him doing that. And Billy loves, I keep it cold here at the office because I run really hot, and Billy's always wearing a coat when he's out there doing his
So this is my new hoodie.
doing his work. So that hoodie's going to get worked, is going to get a workout. So,
but definitely go check him out on Instagram at Cobra Archery, COBRAARCHERY, and he's got lots of really cool gear, really cool photos. Very outdoorsman.
Yeah, cool. This podcast, as we finish it up here, has a weird feel to it. I don't know if you're catching on to this, because we don't do it. It's only 2 a month now.
Yeah, no, it slowed down
right?
a lot.
Yeah. And so it's like, I feel like we haven't talked to each other in weeks,
Yeah.
right? Even though we work together every day.
Yeah.
It's just weird.
Well, there
We
was a
got in
good
that really
year and a
good,
half.
consistent, you're doing 2 a week and you're trying to do them on the same day, and you're making notes, on shit that you want to bitch about and talk about. And so this one kind of had a feeling like I've been on vacation for 2 weeks or something. So that's kind of funny too, because we're not doing them nearly as often as we were.
Yeah. I think we should try to get some more with just us in there too. More than just 2 a month.
More than 2 a month?
Yeah, I think so.
We could probably do that pretty easily, particularly after the new year.
Yeah.
Because I just been fucking hammered. And here after the new year, there's going to be lots of shit to talk about on why I've been so busy and what's been going on around here. And it should be all done by the end of the year, and then I can talk about it. And it is a story unlike anything anyone has ever fucking heard. I will tell you that much. And I look forward to. It's going to be more than I can tell in a podcast. It's going to take a lot of time to work through this. I think people will find it amazing, and I think people will find it interesting, and I think some people will hate me, and I think some people will love me, and it should run the whole gamut of emotions, because it is it's a fucking story that certainly I have never heard anything like it, nor has many of the people I have around me ever heard anything like it. Would you say that's fair?
Totally.
Or am I full of myself?
No, 100%.
Yeah. So I look forward to talking about it.
Yeah, no, that'll be awesome. I'm
so
excited. I mean, this has been in the works for a couple of years now.
Yeah, so it's finally, we've talked about, that's right, we've talked about this before, where we just can't talk about it yet, but we will. All right, cool. That wraps it up, guys. Blazers, Lakers tonight. Again, Aaron Floyd, suck it. He's a big Laker fan, which makes him a bitch. Be sure to check us out on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. Make sure you link him specifically to this.
And just tag him
to
in
this
that.
podcast.
You want me to cut those parts out?
Yep.
All right.
And we'll send him. Yep.
You
for
got
sure.
it.
So, Keenan, if you're listening, Billy, cut these parts out. We got to send them to Aaron. Aaron is my nephew, and he loves the Lakers. Why, I don't know. A bandwagon jumping type of thing, I'm pretty sure. And I'm a big Blazer fan. They're probably going to fucking crush us tonight, which is going to be brutal. We've talked about this before, and real quick, the thing I appreciate about the Laker fans, and I think I've talked about this on the podcast before, is when I've been a season ticket holder for 1,000 years. And so when Golden State, right, which went to the finals like 4 years straight and won 3 out of 4 or whatever they did, right? They've ruled the NBA for a good 5-6 year run. Prior to that time, so let's go back 7 or 8 years, you couldn't give away a Golden State fucking ticket. You couldn't give it away, right? No one came. The Toronto Raptors last year won the championship, right? The NBA championship. This year, there's fucking Raptor fans at the Raptor game screaming and yelling to an amount that you noticed them.
Yeah.
Never seen a Raptor fan at a fucking Blazer game in God knows how many years. Never. I mean, not that I've noticed, right? Not that they're making noise and you're paying attention to it. So Golden State gets good, and all of a sudden, a third of the stadium's Golden State fans. I shit you not, right? It's as many open seats as they could find Golden State fans. But remember, 7 years ago, you couldn't give away a Golden State ticket because nobody was interested. Then they get good, and fucking all the great big, I've been a Golden State fan for years, you lying motherfuckers, that never happened. The Lakers have sucked for about 8 years, right? Sucked. Not made the playoff in years, sucked. I got to give it to them. That stadium tonight will be about a quarter Laker fans. And through the 8 years of losing, it's always a quarter Laker fans. So now they're the best team in the, one of the best teams in the NBA. They got LeBron James and Anthony Davis, two of the best players in the league. They're probably going to crush us. But that same 25% will be there screaming and yelling for their Lakers. That's what being a fan's about.
Yeah.
Dodgers come to Seattle, I'm there. If they're on a 500-game losing streak, I'm going to the fucking game, right? It doesn't matter to me. It's not just because they've been winning for the last 7 or 8 years. I've been a Dodger fan for my entire life. So Golden State fans, you guys can go fuck yourselves. Laker fans, begrudgingly, I will say that about you, that I respect you for representing either way. I can't talk shit about you going to the games because you come and you represent your team when they have sucked and they've lost like, I don't know how many at home against us. It's been a lot, like 12 or 15 in a row or something.
Damn.
That should end tonight. Anyway, go check us out, people. I'm done cussing and screaming about other cities' fans. YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, iTunes, Google, Reddit, Jerry Brazy on all of them. Don't forget about Spotify or Daniel will get pissed. Send us your questions to questions@jerrybrazy.com. Really, Daniel just get pissed at me if I don't say Spotify because, I have to take shit from him. Remember, people, opportunities are everywhere. Go get them. Peace.
Peace.